Oracle TV. I'm Kendall Fisher, head of Oracle Video and your Oracle TV anchor.
I'm Fritz Nelson, Oracle's Vice President of Content Operations and your other Oracle TV anchor.
And we are coming at you live from Oracle Sail Grand Prix in Los Angeles.
This is our inaugural broadcast from SailGP, and so we have it jam-packed with interviews. We're going to give you first-hand access to the F-50s, these incredibly fast catamaran hydrofoils. We'll have discussions with executives and athletes and lots more.
That's right. Now, today's discussion will focus on one of the most important tools when it comes to improving the reliability and performance of those F-50s, Oracle Anomaly Detection. Now, you will get a deep dive into anomaly detection as well as the Oracle product and technology that is powering that impressive tool, as well as how it relates to your business.
And to do so, we'll be sitting down with SailGP CEO Russell Coutts, the CTO Warren Jones, the data analyst Scott Babbage.
And of course, we wouldn't be coming to you live from SailGP without talking to some athletes too. And today we have 4 for you. We will be sitting down with Ben Ainslie, Tom Slingsby, CJ and Katya Salskov-Iverson.
And look, we want to hear from you too, so make sure to use the comments on whatever platform you're tuning in from. Tell us what you're looking forward to from this weekend's race. If you have a favorite team, a country that you're rooting for, let us know. Give us a shout out. Tell us where you're tuning in from.
And hey, Fritz and I are both Los Angeles natives, so if you have any favorite Los Angeles hotspots, restaurants, or places you like to visit, go ahead and leave those in the comments for us as well. But before we get into all of that, this is, of course, our first time at SailGP, so we thought it imperative for us to take on the high seas ourselves. Now, you'll see what I mean by that in just a minute here, but first, have you ever been sailing, Fritz?
Well, I hadn't until last month, and I went sailing on the Greek islands, the Ionian Islands. I got to sail the boat for quite a long time, kind of get used to feeling the wind, and I actually sailed long enough to do some tacking as well, so now I know what that is.
Wow, you fancy, huh?
Oh yeah, somebody's got to do it.
I mean, you are leaps and bounds and grinders and winches and sails ahead of me because I have literally never been sailing.
Well, we're going to give you a chance today.
Yep, and you guys are going to get to see that experience firsthand as we head out there and show you the Los Angeles course. Check it out. First of all, it's a beautiful day. Second, this is insane. It's really cool.
Seeing these boats up close, huge. Having them kind of come out of the water is wild. I wish we could lift this boat up a little bit.
I don't want to do that.
How much force do we need for her to fall off?
Oh, I can't swim. SailGP. It's all the
Is that you, kid?
Pink. Barbie. It's part of the Barbie marketing. I want to be the grinder.
You want to be the grinder? I just want to run back and forth across the boat.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was a lot of fun. Luckily, nobody got hurt. Nobody got pushed in. Nobody got sick. I think you okay?
Yeah, I mean, we remained dry for the most part, so I'm good. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we are here again with Russell Coutts. He's the CEO, and welcome back to Los Angeles, by the way. In 1984, you won a gold medal here for New Zealand. Any memories come back from that?
Man, that's a long time ago, Fritz. You know, that's showing my age, isn't it? But
well,
no, the truth was it was a great moment. You know, obviously that was in many ways the start of my sailing career. I was a young engineer in those days, but also, you know, obviously a very, very active sailor, and to win a gold medal at the Olympics was, you know, was definitely one of the highlights of my career.
I think, you know, this is the first time we're bringing SailGP to our live audience. It might be good to just kind of talk a little bit about the SailGP series, what it is. We're in our 4th season already. Can you just kind of break down the sport for us?
Well, the first thing I'd say is that people have an image of sailboats, and that's not SailGP in a way. You know, it's so far, their image is probably white triangles on a blue background out in the ocean somewhere, by yourself, having a beer, relaxing, right?
Catching a fish.
Catching a fish, that's probably the image. But SailGP is really a racing product. These are high-speed foiling boats, meaning they hydrofoil above the water at speeds close to what you're driving on the freeway.
Yeah, I mean, I was sailing last month going about 8 or 9 miles an hour on the boat.
And he thought that was high speed.
So you're doing 60 plus miles per hour on a SailGP F50, and so we have the best sailors in the world. I think it's the most exciting racing on water. Our races are 15 minutes long. We go to some really iconic venues. When you look at our program throughout the year, we have 12 events in season 4, and we're about to announce a new venue, so that'll become 13. So it truly is a global competition. The cool thing about SailGP though is that all the boats are equal. That equipment's exactly identical. So it comes down to the skill of the athletes and how they apply the technology. So obviously the Oracle Cloud's a big part of that, a huge analysis tool.
Yeah.
Or the information that they get out of that is huge for these teams.
We're going to hear so much about how Oracle technology plays a role in all of this. But first, kind of again, going back to what our audience may be familiar with or not. Some of you may be familiar with America's Cup, which pits national teams against each other every 4 years. How does SailGP differ, or how is it similar to America's Cup?
Well, the big difference with SailGP is, as I've said, they all race the same boats. So the equipment is absolutely identical, and they are not allowed to change any of that equipment themselves. So that's the huge difference, and so it really does come down to the athletic performance on board. And the America's Cup is a competition between 2 teams. It's called what's called a match race. SailGP is a fleet of 10 boats, so 10 identical boats, 10 nations fighting it out for the victory.
And how fast is the sport growing right now?
It's growing incredibly fast. I mean, if you look at our audience, our dedicated broadcast viewership in season 3 and compare that to season 2, that increased by 3 times. So we're 117 million dedicated viewers across season 3. And also, our secondary audience has increased by just under 27% as well. So we're growing really fast, and also our spectators on site, that grew, I think, 43% season 2 to 3. So it is growing fast. We're now up to 10 teams, as I've said. We're growing increasing the number of venues. Pretty much everything across the board's growing rapidly.
So as the CEO of SailGP, what is your role? What's the day-to-day like for you?
Well, we are very focused on having a great racing product, first and foremost. And what I mean by that is racing that's interesting to a much wider fan base than just your traditional sailing audience. So, we're seeing a lot of the growth that I was talking about. We're seeing really that isn't a sailing audience. It's really a racing fan. The racing fan that is coming into SailGP, watching it, and surprised by how compelling the racing is. So we're excited about the future.
Now, while our audience who are tuning in right now might be brand new to sailing, we all fall under one umbrella, and that's technology. So can you tell us a bit about the cool technology that's powering SailGP and your catamarans?
Yeah, so there's 800 sensors on board each of these F50s, and that creates just over 1 billion data requests per hour of racing on an F50, and that's accessible to all of the teams. So all of the teams can look at each other's data as well as their own and compare that. And of course we have analysis tools that identify what the differences are in performance between these teams. So for example, if you look at the data, you can see that the Australian team, if you compare them to the Canadians, and this is real data I'm talking about, you can see that the Australian team is able to fly their boat about 2 inches higher than the Canadians on average, and that results in quite a significant speed advantage, about in miles per hour, about 4 or 5 miles per hour difference in speed. Now, it takes a tremendous amount of skill to do that. You can look at the data and you could say, oh, well, we've got it now. They're flying slightly higher. We'll do the same. But it's very, very difficult in practice to actually achieve that, because if you fly slightly too high, the hydrofoils actually aerate and the boat crashes down into the water. And you see that happening when teams push things too hard occasionally. So the great thing about it is new teams coming into the league can really look at the data, see how the top teams are doing it, see how the top teams are working their playbook. And every SailGP maneuver, so when they shift through the wind, there are 32 actions that have to be performed in perfect sync. And these new teams can come in and actually see exactly when the 6 crew members are making the adjustments on those boats, and then adapt their playbook to suit. So it's a really exciting format. It's why the racing is so close, but the best sailors still seem to find a way to win.
Can you talk a little bit about the role that Oracle technology plays in all the things you just described?
Well, everything's founded on the Oracle Cloud, so which is fantastic. Whether that's the data analytics tools or that we use, or whether that's broadcast, it saves a lot of cost because people can access the data anywhere in the world. So, for example, our broadcast team is for the most part, apart from the camera operators and sound engineers, almost all of the team operates out of our London broadcast studios, so which saves a tremendous amount of cost. But also for team training, we can operate our simulator anywhere in the world. So, for example, the Danish team, if they were doing a practice session in Denmark, they could set up a training camp with the Australian team that may be located in Sydney, Australia. They could set up a race in Los Angeles while they're sitting at home with their computers and so forth, and practice a SailGP race here in Los Angeles. So that is, that's pretty amazing technology when you think about it. That's enabling a much faster learning, particularly when you couple that with all the data, and you can, for example, race against a ghost boat. Pretty hard to beat the ghost boat, by the way. That's doing things perfectly. But you can actually learn very, very fast, because you can do hundreds or thousands of iterations and perfect positioning, perfect technique, how to sail the boat effectively and so forth. And you can pitch yourself against any competitors you want. So yeah, of course, the learning is tremendously rapid when you have all those tools at your fingertips.
Well, we are so excited to see all of this in action here in Los Angeles. And speaking of, what can we expect from the race weekend ahead? And what's uniquely challenging or what's something that we can look forward to here specific to Los Angeles?
Well, the City of Angels, I think the conditions are going to be absolutely perfect. And this is stadium racing. The boats literally come within meters or feet of the people watching it in the stadium. So it's everyone without fail, pretty much arrives at our events, see the racing like this, and are absolutely gobsmacked at I think the difference between what they perceive they would see and then what they actually see in reality. So that's pretty cool. And here in Los Angeles, of course, it's sun, it's fun, it's nice. The boats are going to be close.
And I live here.
And you live here. Well, there you go.
Well, thank you so much, Russell, for joining us.
Yes, and when we get back, I'm going to be sitting down with SailGP CTO Warren Jones. But before that, we actually went out earlier with Russell out on the boat, and we heard from him about these F-50s a little bit more in depth, as well as a little bit of information on the cruise. So check it out.
So you've got the driver's driving the boat. Right, the strategist at the back, so they're looking around. A really good sailor can read the wind on the water. Up in front of the driver, you've got the wing trimmer, so they manipulate the sail. In front of that, you've got what we call the grinders, and they provide the power to control the wing sail. You basically power up the wing sail. Each of those can be individually adjusted. Basically, you get your thrust by bending the wind. Every shape we have what we call a lift coefficient, which describes the efficiency of the shape to bend the wind. And it's what we call a solid wing, which looks like an airplane wing. If I was to put the force up the top of the wing, I could only resist that so much. Whereas if I put it down there, I can resist a lot more, because what's stopping that turning over is the weight of the crew and the weight of the boat.
All right, welcome back. I am here with the SailGP CTO, Warren Jones. Warren, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the role of the CTO as it relates to SailGP. What does your day-to-day look like?
I have many hats, and we have the boats on the water. So the IoT devices that I like to call them. The sailors will call them something else, but they are extreme IoT devices. We need to get huge amounts of information off the boat and then turn that into metrics that they can understand and then make better decisions from that. We have broadcast. We have lots of things that Oracle technology help us with.
So you're in charge of all of that, all the technology that goes into that. Now, we were talking with Russell earlier. I think he said there were 800 sensors on the boat.
Yeah, around that number.
Okay. He's allowed to be one or two off, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So what kinds of data are they collecting?
So they're collecting everything. They're collecting the speed of the boat. They're collecting the camber of the wing. They're collecting the rudder differential. They're collecting the angle of the steering wheel. They're collecting how many times someone's pressed the button. They're collecting the temperature of the button. Everything that goes on the boat that we know that goes through an OCI.
Okay, and how are the teams using this data? Like, are they using all of those pieces of data?
No. Because we generate around 10 million data requests per second.
Wow.
So it's around, at the end of the day, when we've had all 10 boats sailing, we generate around 48 billion data requests. So no one can ever utilize that, and that's where Oracle and Oracle AI and Oracle Stream Analytics come in, and they help us find those metrics to give to the athletes to make better decisions.
Let's dive into one piece of it. We're talking a lot about today, anomaly detection. Let's just start at a high level, 30,000 foot level. What is anomaly detection?
So we have sensors on the boat. So those sensors will break or they'll malfunction. So I talked about 48 billion data requests. Within those data requests are anomalies, and they tell a story about a specific hardware, a specific application on the boat. And from that, then we can work out if the sensor or the part is going to malfunction, because we can read the data within a very, very minuscule, and we work out with huge compute power, and we can find out that something's going to break in the next hour. Then we can take it off, replace it, and therefore save a lot of time and a lot of sustainability as well.
So can you talk about all the different players in a race, who it matters to? I mean, obviously it matters to the teams. They don't want to not race, but at
SailGP, we're a little bit different, where in a normal series, you would have data. Data is important. You'd be able to go faster, go slower, go better, go worse from using the data. At SailGP, we open the data. So Oracle is our official data partner at SailGP. And from that point of view, they're the official data partner of everybody. So everybody can see each other's data. The French can see the British data. Australia can see the New Zealand data. It's pretty amazing, really. But the level of competition you can push up very quickly because everybody's watching each other and what they're doing.
So let's talk about the overall architecture of the data, how it flows from sensor all the way back through to when your teams are looking at it.
So we have we start with boat to database. So at the moment, we're in Los Angeles, it is 150 milliseconds. We have dedicated fibers that we send from here to London. We use a program from Oracle to be able to extend that data center from London, and we bring it into Los Angeles. And from that, then we can be able to to get the data and then manage that and build all these metrics from that point of view.
I've heard of other like manufacturers using it for like this kind of anomaly detection for tractors and other equipment that they can detect failures before they happen. What other examples of industries are you aware of that are using this kind of technology?
Well, it is predictive maintenance. You know, you're looking into the future and working out that if something breaks on that boat, then everything else around the boat breaks. Therefore, then we have to fix that. We have to do everything like that. So we talked to Oracle and we said we've never done this before. How can you help us? And there was industries in power, and they use this. They use it a bit differently, and we modified that a little bit to our needs, and we're utilizing it from that point of view.
So we've talked a little bit about the different parts and pieces of Oracle. Can you give us a breakdown of all the different Oracle technologies being used? Or give it a shot. Anyway.
We couldn't do what we do without Oracle. It's that simple. The huge amounts of information, OCI. We have augmented reality graphics, which is a product called Liveline, which actually visualizes what's going on the water. Like in a stadium, you have the halfway line and you have the ends. We're on the water, so we need to visualize that. Liveline is in Oracle Cloud. We build that out from the Oracle Cloud. We use Stream Analytics. We use Fast Connect, which extends everything back to here. There's countless of services that we use for Oracle, and we're really proud of our partnership with Oracle.
I'm curious about on the anomaly detection. Are you able to see things like, in real time, like pre-race, like, ooh, something might fail, we can replace it right there? Or
no, we're not there yet, because we have to cipher through 48 billion lines of code. So usually we at the end of the day we stop it, we start it, it goes through it, and by the time we come in the morning, it will say that sensor 621 on Team France is going to have a problem. And then we change it out, and then we're ready for the day.
Great. Well, this has been a great little introduction into the technology behind anomaly detection. We really appreciate it.
Day number 2 of the final event, and all boats flying in the shadows of the Golden Gate Bridge.
At SailGP, we're pushing the boundaries. Previously, for our broadcast, we traveled with 25 containers. The sustainability of having 200 flights, cab rides from the airport, hotels, it didn't work for us.
Also schon mal Helmsen Flight rüberziehen.
Now, today we travel with one. Everything is within the Oracle Cloud.
Looks like to have the best
We have Oracle Fast Connect from our venue to London Data Center and to Ealing Television Center. So in theory, we have a circle of data. So once we send information from here to Oracle Data Center, they send that information back to the Ealing studio, and that gets on your TV screen. The round trip for everything is around 300 milliseconds. It's the blink of an eye. We want to get better, we want to be more efficient at what we do.
Brilliant starts. Can he hold off the fast charging
And we
Spanish?
want technology to help us do that.
I am here with Scott in the area right next to the systems container. This is what Warren was talking about earlier, where all the data flows into and all the analysis is done. And I'm with the data analyst, Scott Babbage. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So talk about what your role is with regard to anomaly detection.
So I'm one of the people that runs the system, essentially. I'm sort of responsible for the data coming off the boat, so the telemetry system, streaming that data through the Oracle Cloud and to the database. So I make it run, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, beyond individual runs, are anomalies tracked, say, over time to look at broader patterns as well as specific things that might go wrong?
Not formally, like we're not tracking anomalies through time. We look at things on a day-by-day basis and manage the fleet that way. But I think, informally, the systems engineering team would be looking at sensors or components that are failing regularly, and they'll be managing that. Yep.
And do some of those trends end up, informing part design and things like that?
Look, I think the sensors that we use, or the sensors that we're monitoring for anomaly detection, are not really part of the design of the boat. So we're not feeding that back into design at this stage. It's about probably component selection. We might be changing suppliers, or the design of potentially the design of the specific part, but not in a broader sense of the boat.
So it's really just about something that potentially could fail, might be failing, replacing that.
Yep.
And
exactly.
Okay. So the day-to-day more than long-term trends.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you walk us through what an anomaly report looks like?
Yep.
What are you seeing?
So we see essentially a spreadsheet that's flagging anomalous data points. So we might we'll see that flagging yes or no, these points are anomalous, and at the end of the report, it'll give us a percentage statistic essentially for how many samples are anomalies, and we sort of look at that based on a threshold that we think we should investigate further. Often we'll get anomalies that we don't care about, but sometimes when the sample is really high, we have to dig into the visualization and look at that data.
With all of Warren talked about all of the data points coming in, you obviously have to have some way of kind of sorting through that very quickly to see these things and pop up things that might be, urgent, as you said, which ones you really need to look at now and which ones you can ignore.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we use anomaly detection on our really high rate data that comes off the boat at the end of the day at the moment. So I think an extension for us down the line will be to look at anomalies in real time using our streaming data. So our streaming is sort of a subset of our log data. Our high frequency stuff, we get off at the end of the day, we load through the Oracle Cloud into the database, and we run their data science notebooks and the anomaly detection service in OCI to sort of parse or process that data. So it's it all happens sort of after the fact.
Right.
But if we're fast enough, we can get to it and replace components prior to the boats going out the next day.
Right. And so is it just alerts that are coming up? What are the first things you're looking for as you sit down for the first time with the data from the day?
With the anomaly data, you mean? Yeah. Well, it's just flagging a couple of channels. Like we're looking at a small subset of the couple of thousand channels that we log, the ones that we're interested in for anomaly detection, and we'll be looking at the ones that are ranking high in their sort of percentage of anomalies. And then from there, we'll go back and look in our other tools to see time series data related to that channel and anything else that might be going on at that time. So, for example, one of the scenarios we had in Chicago in a training day was a Swiss tank volume sensor for their hydraulic system. And we went and looked at that data, and then we compared it to some data from San Francisco, and you could see that the trend was different. Or you compare it to other boats and you can see that the sensor is performing differently, and then that's a trigger to go and change that component. Yep.
Well, let's take a step back and just, where does the anomaly detection data sit in terms of its importance with all the other data that's being collected?
Well, I guess it depends who's asking or
Sure.
who's interested. AD is really critical probably for the systems team or the tech team more generally, who are trying to make the boat function. From a sailor's point of view, they're more interested in maybe performance data and how they're sailing the boat compared to somebody else, what other teams are doing differently to them. And we're not really tracking that with anomaly detection because the environment changes so much.
Sure.
It's hard to determine whether something was intentional or not when you're looking at some of that data. So yeah, from a sailor's point of view, I think they're really interested in how they're performing, how they're using the boat. And the systems team is really interested in how the boat is working. Is it working as expected?
I hear that after a performance, a lot of the sailors come rushing over to your systems environment and want to ask questions and pound away at that. Is that it's got to be kind of stressful? They're usually not in a calm mood when they're coming, I'm assuming.
No, it varies. It varies.
Yes.
Some of the best teams, the teams that have good days, don't come. The teams that turn up regularly are probably having a tough day or something's not working quite right.
Yes.
And you can get some heated discussions. Often the questions come in. The boat is the boat working correctly? The sailors are always blaming the boat in a way, and
Sure.
the systems guys are always blaming the sailor. So it's a bit of a compromise to work out, is it human or system that's at fault in a lot of cases?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Chicago again.
Yep.
Can you talk about specifically, there were some some anomalies
Yep.
and what you saw and how you what you saw visually on the screen versus knowing that things happened out there.
So one of the interesting ones, Chicago, the second day of racing in Chicago was really light, not much wind at all, and the teams were rowing essentially with their dagger boards, pushing them up and down constantly in a straight line, and that's not something we see in a general sense. And Anomaly Detection picked that up. They saw that the up-down system was being worked quite a lot, and then that led us to anomalies around the up-down pressures and valves and the hydraulic components involved. Led us to look into that a bit more. We realised it was the way they were sailing the boats because of the conditions, but it's also led us to start tracking more variables in anomaly detection around the up-down system, just to make sure that that system specifically is working as we expect. We had a couple of boats that maybe weren't getting the right values for what we expected there. So yeah, it's led us to probably investigate that system a bit more in a bit more detail ongoing. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for giving us a deeper dive into anomaly detection. We really appreciate it.
No problem, anytime.
Okay, well, it just makes sense for us to maybe now talk to some of the athletes about how anomaly detection affects their performance, their ability to race, and all of the impacts of data on what they're doing in the race. And to start that off, Kendall is with Tom Slingsby, who is Australia's driver. I'm going to kick it back to you, Kendall.
That's right, Fritz. I am here with Tom. And now, Tom, to kick things off, I know that you have come from far, far away to be here in Los Angeles today, but I happen to be a Los Angeles native. Yeah. So I thought it would be fun to kick off our interview with a little Los Angeles trivia. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, sounds good. I don't know how well I'll go, but I'll give my best shot.
Okay, well, to amp this up a little bit, you're also going to be competing against Ben. He's going to be answering some of the same trivia later, so hopefully that brings on the competition a bit.
Yeah, I'm more happy now that I'm competing against someone for sure. I'm not against like the general what's a good number, a good result. But if I'm up against Ben, I like my chances.
Okay, there you go. So we'll start off a little bit easy. What does Los Angeles mean in Spanish?
Oh God, I'm not going to do well here.
It sounds like what it means.
City of Angels.
Yes.
There we go. I do know some
yourself.
stuff. I just need to be prompted sometimes.
Exactly. Okay. Do you know the two Los Angeles NBA teams, the two basketball teams here in LA?
The LA Lakers and the LA Clippers.
See, you do know your stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give you three options for this. So don't think you have to just guess right off the top. But on average, how much time do Angelinos spend in traffic? 50 hours, 100 hours, or 200 hours?
Oh, I know it's a lot. LA traffic's world renowned. It's either, I guess, 100 or 200. 200 hours is a lot. I'll go 100 hours.
Spot on. It's 100 hours on average. We spend 4 days in traffic here, and I can certainly relate to that. Okay, final question. What year did Los Angeles host the Olympics?
1984.
Yes,
Yep.
and actually 1932,
Mm-hmm.
and to come in 2028, which will be really exciting.
Yeah, exciting.
See,
Yeah,
you
very
killed
cool.
it. You
Yeah,
got
not too bad.
4 out of 4 there,
Yeah,
right?
I'll take it.
You got to get a little hint on that first
Good
one.
luck,
We'll still
Ben.
give you the
Good
point.
luck, Ben.
We'll see how Ben does after this. Okay, now we got to get to some serious questions here. Today, our conversations have been focused on data and anomaly detection, so we're going to hit on that a little bit. But first, for our audience who's new to SailGP, can you explain what your role is?
My role is the driver of the Team Australia, so I'm steering the boat, and really we also are kind of the tacticians on board as well. We get information from other people in the team, but the buck stops with us. We make the call, and if we get a great result, we get a bit of praise. If we get a poor result, we cop the heat as well.
Oh, well, what role does data play in this role? I mean, how are you reviewing data before, during, and after a race?
Well, I think SailGP is probably it's a revolutionary league in that we have shared data. It's we can see everyone else, all our competitors' data on the water live, and then we also can come post-analyze after racing, and that's huge. It's something new to sport. What I think the main reason of it is to really keep the level high and keep the competition really close. So the teams who aren't doing that well can look at the top team's data and say, okay, well, they're doing this differently. We can just essentially copy and do that. And it's different because there's a whole new way of tactics behind it. And if you're a top team, you have to figure out ways to hide your data and how can you sneak around and not show people what you're actually doing out there.
Yeah, that certainly increases the competition, and it's exciting to watch. And I know we're all looking forward to seeing the race here this weekend. Now, anomaly detection. How does the reliability of anomaly detection allow you to really push the F50 to the full maximum while simultaneously worrying about the safety of your team?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just, it's great. I mean, having the ability, sometimes we're on board and something doesn't feel right, but we don't actually know what it is. It can be in the systems, it can be in the hydraulics, the electronics, and I guess the detection allows us, for SailGP back at the tech area, they can sit there and say there's something wrong with the boat, and they can find the problem before it gets worse. Whether it's something failing, something failing in the electronics, and it's slowly getting worse and worse, and then something really terrible could happen soon. They can stop that. They can predict that path about to happen, and they stop and they get their technicians on board and fix the issue before it escalates. And I think that's really important when you've got 10 boats out here who rely on, we need to be on the race, we've got to start exactly on the minute. The races don't get delayed, so we have to hit that line at a certain time. And so it just helps us spot problems early and allows them not to escalate into a major problem.
Now, on the other hand, can you explain a moment in which you have had boat failure or you've experienced failure and how that impacted you and your team?
Yeah, we've had, over the years, these are very high-tech boats, so we've had a lot of issues for sure. I remember I think it was start of season 2, we had a hydraulics fail. We're over in Italy, and we ended up missing a couple of races there, and we ended up finishing last for the event because of a failure on the boat. And I think now, especially with Oracle support, the technology and the data and the detection of these issues is becoming less and less, and we're having less of these issues on the water as a racing team. Obviously, it's a lot smarter than myself and all the systems, and it goes over my head most of the talk, but all I know is they come to our boat and say, we've noticed something's going wrong, can we get on board and check it and fix it? And they do that ahead of time, and we actually get to do the race instead of having to pull out with damage.
Yeah, super comforting for you as a driver and for your team.
Yes.
All right, now to round things out here, we are in Los Angeles. What is uniquely challenging or different about the Los Angeles course?
Well, I haven't actually raced here yet. This is my first time racing in LA. I've raced all over the US for a long time, but it doesn't look it right now, but it's actually been really sunny, beautiful, warm conditions. But that's what we're expecting. The forecast looks great. The racetrack behind us is very tight. I kind of explain it. It's similar to a street circuit in F1 where it's really tight and less overtaking lanes. And it'll put in, as in F1, that puts a real priority on the qualifying performance and how you start the race. It's the same with us. If we get a good start in the race, if you get a good start, it's hard to be overtaken. You can sort of put your elbows out and there's not many passing lanes. But then the same token, if you do get a bad start, it's actually really hard to overtake. So starting will be more important here in LA.
Great. Well, how do you prepare for a race like this? Any music or rituals that you kind of partake in before you hit the course?
We prepare the same way we always do. We're Aussies. We're just always giving each other a hard time. We're always joking. We've got the music cranked up in the bass, but we're not that team who has headphones in. They're in their zone, not talking to anyone. We're walking around laughing.
You're Australian.
We're giving each other a hard time. We're giving our competitors a hard time. If you walk too close to our tent and you're one of our competitors, expect us to yell something. It's kind of just what we do, but everyone knows we're just having a good time and having a laugh.
I love it. Well, to end things here, we did ask our audience any favorite, LA hotspots or places to visit when you come over here.
Shouldn't this be the other way around? You should be telling us where to go. But no, we're looking forward to it. And once we finish racing, I think we'll all try to go out and enjoy a drink and have a good time in LA.
As you should. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
And now I'm going to pass it over to Fritz, who is hanging out with CJ Perez and Katya Salskov-Iverson. Fritz, over to you.
All right, that's right, Kendall. I am here with Katya and CJ. Katya is with the Denmark team. CJ is with the U.S. team. Can you say catamarans sail really fast in Danish?
Katamaraner sejler rigtig hurtigt.
Got it. Can you?
No, I can't, but I should learn. How do you
All
say
right.
it?
Katamaraner sejler rigtig hurtigt.
I don't know if I should try. I think I would really butcher it. Katam.
The sounds are different as well. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Now, I am from Los Angeles, from this area, and so we thought we might start with a little trivia. We are playing it with Tom and Ben as well, so we want to see how everyone does. This is Los Angeles trivia, so you have a little advantage, CJ. But
yeah.
all right.
Are we playing against each other?
Yeah. Well, you're both going to answer the questions. You can help. You know what? If you want to do a team, we'll do a team.
Yeah, we're team. We're team.
Okay, so the first one, this is kind of I'm going to start off hard. I guarantee you it gets a little easier. All right. Which of these areas that I'm going to name is not part of Los Angeles? Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, West Hollywood.
Santa Monica.
Yes.
Santa Monica.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was a trick question. All of them are not part of Los Angeles. Little known Los Angeles trivia. Well, maybe by non-Los Angeles people. They're all not part of the city of Los Angeles. Believe it or not, yes. Okay, we'll get a little easier, let's hope, maybe. What are the names of the 2 Los Angeles baseball teams?
LA baseball team.
No.
No, not big baseball fans?
Baseball person.
I did go to see the Cubs in Chicago.
Okay, that's good. We'll get partial credit for that. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Los Angeles Angels.
I got some of the words correct.
Yeah, you got Los
Yes.
Angeles,
Yeah.
right?
That was a good start. All right. Next one. True or false? Universal Studios combines both a theme park and a working studio where they film stuff.
True.
True. You got that one right. Okay. Which city has a larger population, New York or Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
It's New York. Sorry. All right. True or false? Los Angeles is the only North American city to have hosted the Olympics twice.
True.
Twice in the past?
In the past, yes.
Did we host it twice before?
I might go with what Katya said.
Okay.
True. In 1932 and 1984.
She's young. You have to know that. So that's why.
Yeah. None of us were born back then, let's just say, for that first one anyway. Okay, well, you guys did all right. Tom did really good, so we'll see how Ben does. So, all right, so let's get back to some serious stuff here. Kendall spoke to Tom about the importance of data in the team's performance. Can you both talk about the role that data plays in strategy? We'll start with you.
Yeah, well, I think, data is a big part of my life, really, now that we can basically analyze whatever we want. It's just about asking the right questions, and then you can find it in the data. So I spend a lot of time analyzing the data, especially all that you can track the boats really precisely, and you can actually look at the tactical decisions and the strategic decisions around the race course. So it does a huge difference, especially because we don't have much time to train in these boats. So having the time to just look at data, it does everything.
What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I totally agree on your point that, like, on SailGP, the biggest challenge, I guess, is that we don't have enough time to train on the boats. So I think what really comes down to it is whose team can really get into the data and be able to pick apart what were the winning moves of a certain team and, try and incorporate that into their racing strategy.
Now, you two are both in the role in the boat as the strategist, and this is a new position for this year. Can you guys talk about what that means and how you approach that role?
It is, as you say, a new role, and that means that it's not really defined what the role is or should do. So I think we're all doing it a bit differently, but it's a role where we can take more and more responsibility, and especially using the data to actually confirm our calls, decisions, and choices. It does a big difference because then we can improve for the next race.
Yeah, and this season we incorporated a strategist panel. So each team has like a piece of equipment that they can sort of arrange different data points however they'd like. And yeah, the strategist looks at that and is able to pass that information on during the race to other members of the team. And it's in development, but I think it'll be a really important aspect into the racing.
One of the aspects we're talking about here with data is anomaly detection and being able to see problems before they exist. Does knowing that that's happening make it easier to push things harder out on the water?
Yeah, for sure. It feels safer that we have a lot of people just managing, controlling all the data all the time, and sometimes we are told to stop the platform because we can see that there is some anomaly. And that just, you feel safer. That's a nice feeling on these boats because you never really feel safe.
Yeah, I think all the time we're trying to push the boat as hard as we can. But yeah, no, I think we're always just trying to push until something breaks or something, and then we need to stop.
Do you guys we're here in Los Angeles, first time out here, any preparations, any rituals you guys have right before the race? How do you prepare?
Me as an individual or with
the team? Yeah,
well, I do have a lot myself. I think with the team, we're quite good at having a good time, putting on great tunes and dancing a little bit before going out. One of our grinders, Julius, he's the DJ, and it gets hot in the changing room sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just so cool. This is SailGP's first event here in Los Angeles, and it's a new venue and a new racing area for everyone. So I think for our team, it's just going to be quickly adapting to this small race course and, yeah, seeing who can put it out there on the race course today.
Great, fantastic. Well, good luck to both of you. I'm going to throw it back to Kendall, who is with Ben Ainslie, who is actually from Great Britain and one of the most decorated racers in all of sailing. Kendall, take it away.
Thank you so much, Fritz. That's right. I'm here with Ben. Ben, I have to tell you, we had a little bit of fun before this with Tom. I am a Los Angeles native, so I quizzed Tom on his LA trivia. Do you think that you could compete?
I reckon I could have a good shot at it. Yeah,
Do
why
you?
not?
Okay,
yeah.
well, let's give it a
Try
go.
me out.
I don't want to make you nervous, but Tom did get all questions right. But let's see how this plays out.
Well, that is why he's top of the league, isn't it?
There you go. Okay, let's start with a little bit of an easier question. What does Los Angeles mean in Spanish?
Is it the city of angels?
That is correct.
Got it.
Wow. Okay.
I did do a little bit of Spanish at school, but not very much.
Oh, there you go. I did like 12 years of Spanish, and it's all beyond me now at this point. Unfortunately, I need to get back on it.
I don't believe it.
Okay, number 2. What are the 2 Los Angeles NBA teams, the 2 basketball teams here in LA?
Now I'm going to struggle. The Lakers.
Yeah, there you go.
And the Golden State Warriors. No.
Oh, close. That's San Francisco.
Okay.
The Clippers.
Okay,
all right.
So I failed already.
Nearly. Oh, well, it's okay. But to be fair, I gave Tom a little bit of a hint for the first one, so we'll say you're even as of right now. Okay, this next one I'm going to give you some options. On average, how much time do Angelinos spend in traffic? 50 hours, 100 hours, or 200 hours?
What, we're talking about a month or a week?
On average every year, sorry.
Oh, what was the maximum, sorry?
50 hours, 100 hours, or 200 hours?
200.
Wow, you think 200?
Yeah.
100 hours, which is still 4 days of traffic a year, which is pretty crazy.
It is.
It's like a vacation.
Yeah, it's a lot of traffic around here.
Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah, I know. I was just talking to you about that. Okay, final question here. What year did Los Angeles host the Olympics?
84.
Yeah, you got it. And 1932, actually, as well.
Oh, right. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And we're actually the only North American city to have hosted the Olympics twice.
Yeah. And then
cool.
You've got also the Football World Cup coming up. Right?
Yeah.
You've got a lot going on.
And 2028, we also have the Olympics coming our way.
Yeah.
Very exciting times here.
It's all happening in LA.
And we're starting here with SailGP.
Yeah, it's
Love
just the start of it.
Yeah, it's just the start. Okay. I want to get into some serious questions now. Not super serious, but a little serious. We've been talking about data, technology, and anomaly detection basically throughout the entire broadcast today. I'm going to get to that in a bit, but first, this is our first SailGP event for Oracle TV. Can you tell us a bit about your role?
So my role is I'm the CEO and the driver for the British team. So I try my best to run the operation with a fantastic team. And out in the water, I'm a key part of the sailing team. I steer the boat, try and point it in the right direction. So it's a full-on job. It's a fantastic team that we've got. We're really excited to have the GBR franchise in SailGP, and hugely excited by SailGP as this new league, global sailing league, now in season 4, but really taking off.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in this role, what's the impact of data? How are you reviewing data both on the water, off the water, before, during, and after the race?
Well, the Oracle Data Cloud is really key to us, and there aren't many sports, I think, where you have the access to all of the other teams, all of your competitors. So one day we might go out and Team Australia is dominating in a certain part of the race course, and the Team USA are dominating another part. We can go into those, look directly into those moments and get the data from all of the teams and analyze where we're going wrong, if we're doing something not right, how we could be improving. So that is really fundamental, and I think that's why we're seeing the performance of all the teams just improving so rapidly, and such fantastic races out on the course.
Well, and it certainly increases competition. I mean, it's been awesome, awesome to see here. Now, I told you we are also talking about anomaly detection here. How does the reliability of anomaly detection allow you to really push the F50 to the maximum while simultaneously worrying about the safety of your team?
Well, that's right. I mean, these boats are about as censored up as you could possibly get.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, how does that help us? In certain wind, especially when the winds are strong, we're pushing these boats to the maximum of the loads that they're capable of bearing. And those sensors help us to know when we're getting close to that limit. And the boat will automatically back off in terms of the loads that are going through the platform, the rig, and the sails. And so it allows us as sailors to push the boat as close to the maximum as we possibly can without going over that and starting breaking kit and therefore risking injuring people.
Right. Now, on the other hand, though, has there been a moment where I'm sure there has. So can you tell us about a moment in which the boat has broken down, or have you experienced some failure of some sort, and what impact that had on you and the team?
We did. We had a moment in Saint-Tropez last year. We were, I think, the second race, first day. We had a serious malfunction, and then we had to stop the boat. We had to pull out of the race. Thankfully, our short team were able to get on board the boat and repair the issue and get us back going for the next race. So
there you go.
It is possible to come back.
There you go. Okay, final question here. Now all good. Now we are in Los Angeles. What can we expect from the race tomorrow? What's unique about the Los Angeles course, or what's challenging?
Well, it's an incredibly tight course we've got out here. It's brilliant, right in the center of the LA harbor, LA port, but really tight. So you're going to see a lot of maneuvering from the boats. I think probably we're going to have to throw in an extra lap on the race course. You know, we won off a 10 to 12 minute race time, but we're going to have to throw in another lap just to get through those 10, 12 minutes. It's going to be full on, really, really high impact. Hopefully not too high impact in terms of the boats coming together, but there's the tightness of the race course has definitely increased the risk of that.
Well, certainly excited for all the action. How do you get ready for a race like Los Angeles, or really any race? Do you have any pre-race rituals, music you listen to?
Well, like any other sport, preparation is key, and we do that. We work very hard with our coach to get ready for the race. We go through, I'm actually missing this because of you, but we go through a pre-race warm-up routine.
Oh, no.
Stretching together and making sure, and that's a good way for us to all get our mind focused on the race ahead. So, yeah, we're quite structured in how we prepare for the race.
Well, I'm sorry you're missing that because of me.
Well, that's all right. We'll let you off this time.
All right. Thank you. Now, I did ask the audience this before we got started here today, so I'm going to ask you the same thing. Any favorite LA spots you like to visit while you're here? Restaurants, hot spots, areas that you visit?
Yeah, I've been fortunate to be to LA quite a lot, all over the place, really. I mean, it's such a diverse city, isn't it? That's what people love about it. You know, down in Venice Beach, obviously get up into Beverly Hills and get a bit of, some of the Hollywood action.
Yeah.
And also, a bit further south down Newport Beach way, Huntington Beach.
Oh,
also is a beautiful area. And I was here actually for 3 months, 2 years ago. I was up near Santa Barbara, Montecito with my family.
Very cool.
And we really enjoyed that part of of California.
I'm getting married there next year.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah,
Good on you.
Thank you. Love that you shouted that. You know your California geography. Love it.
I do reasonably well, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck this weekend. And we look forward to the race.
Thanks, Kendall. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. And now we talked to Russell Coutts about what SailGP is. We talked a bit about the catamarans. We talked about the crew. But now we want to take a look at what happens off the water. Check it out.
So we have 60 what we call tech teams. They work in with the teams. So they go in, they build their boat, they put their boat on the water, they test their boat, and then they sign it off, and then they hand it over to the teams. But any problems, any maintenance, these guys and girls will do that. So in other sports, you have individual teams. So they bring huge amounts of other people to do that job. With SailGP, we're having one team. One amount of people go into the venue, one flight's home, so it's more sustainable, but it's more efficient as well.
And with that, that's a wrap on our first SailGP event.
I can tell because you've lost the jacket. It's getting a little warm out here.
I know, the sun is shining pretty brightly here.
It is.
Which we like.
Yeah, we love that. And it was such a fun day. I really, really loved talking to Tom and Ben, who are such, seasoned athletes, but also, so successful in their individual roles. And I can't wait to watch them out on the water later.
Yeah, they were competitive, even right here on the stage.
I know.
I enjoyed, we've been through a few Formula One races, and so seeing how, all the data is shared among all the teams. Nothing's hidden. All the boats have to be exactly the same. So the advantage comes down to performance, decision-making, and use of the data. So very different than some of that's the same, but some of it's very different than Formula One.
Yeah, and also one is on land and one is on water.
It's good. Wow.
One uses sails and the wind power, and the other uses an engine.
Wow, you learned a lot today.
I learned so much here today. No, but for real, it really was such a great day. And before we sign off, I do want to thank all of our we had a ton of guests on today. I want to thank all of our amazing guests. Russell, Warren, Scott, CJ, Katya, Tom, and Ben. Thank you all so much for joining us today.
Yeah, and thank you for tuning in as well. We had a blast out here in Los Angeles. We hope you had fun watching as well.
And hey, if you did have fun, there is so much more content where that came from. Make sure you give us a like, a follow, or a subscribe on whatever platform you're tuning in from so you never miss a thing.
And don't forget, we have Oracle Cloud World 23 just around the corner, September 18th through the 21st in Las Vegas. Registration is open now. Go to oracle.com/cloudworld and register today. And with that, we wish all the teams here the best of luck at the SailGP Los Angeles event.
Masks up and away we go.